Anybody remember this tank? This is, of course, the old forest aquarium that we set up, I think, like 2 years ago. It used to look like this, and it was an awesome little tank. A lot of moss, a lot of sticks, obviously, to make the illusion of these trees, but inevitably it went through the kind of the cycle that a lot of these moss-heavy aquariums go through, which is basically just that the moss has kind of a lifespan. You get into trimming it, and then, you know, because of the way we attach it to the wood, it eventually doesn't want to stay attached anymore. That's at least my experience. And so we got to the end of its life, and then we took down the tank. And then me being me, I just left it here for like 2 years. And so it has sat here just like this for all this time. And then I got to thinking, maybe we can do something with this thing. Just maybe we can turn this into an awesome looking, natural sort of biotope-like aquarium. So that's what we're gonna do today. Just know that it is like 1,000 degrees up here in my attic office, guys. That is one thing that I will not miss. When, of course, we move to the new place, which is happening in a few weeks, I do want to set up this tank because I think it's going to be a lot easier to move fish if I have them in smaller aquariums that I can drain down like halfway and then move with me. So that's partially why we're doing this today, and because I'm a little bored and I need a new project. First things first, coffee, secret aquascaping recipe. Let's go. Surprisingly, I managed to not cut myself there, but as you can see, guys, I think we got most of the old super glue remnants out of the tank. The only way to know for sure is to fill up the aquarium and really look at it closely, but I think we got pretty close. So wanted to get rid of that because nothing's gonna stick out more like a sore thumb than that excess super glue. My theory is that all of those shavings will float. But what we need to do now is fill up the aquarium, and then that will also rise up all of the extra hair grass that I plucked out and some of the other junk that's in this tank. So that is going to be the next step here. And would you look at that, I have a leaky jug. Let's do this. We're not really close to being done yet, guys. We're actually gonna have to fast forward in the future a couple days, but I wanna do this first because it's gonna take a little bit of time. So I wanna put in our botanicals into the aquarium to get them waterlogged so that they're not floating when I try and finish this scape. So just know that when it comes to this stuff, if you want them to sink faster, you can go ahead and boil these, and that's gonna help to pull the air out of them so that they will sink faster. I'm not gonna do that here because I just don't think it's really necessary, and because I wanna get the most out of the tannins. So what we have here is, first up we have some alder cones. I think I picked these because they're native to me, and then this is some of the stuff that came from Tannin Aquatics that Rachel sent me. So this looks like they're magnolia leaves, and she wrote on here low tannins, so that's not going to produce a lot of tinge in the water. I also have some Indian almond leaves. Those will provide a decent amount of tannins. And then I have some other stuff over here which is not labeled, so I'm not quite sure exactly what everything is, but these look like they're native leaves. These are also some native things to me as well. Not sure what these are, but I'm sure that if you go to Tannin Aquatics website, you could get names for all this stuff. Another reason why I wanted to do this tank is because I've gotten into contact with the owner of Tannin Aquatics, Scott, who is working with me and legit to help distribute samples to his customers. So that played a little bit of a role in the inspiration for this tank as well. And just know that if you go to Tannin Aquatics and make any purchase on the botanicals over there, you're probably gonna get a sample of legit fish food in your order. I'll put links in the description to his store so you can go check that out if you're interested. Let's go ahead and grab some of these things and put them in the tank. We're just gonna be dumping these in the tank. We don't care if there's little bits and pieces that get in there. We just want this stuff to waterlog so that I can finish the video and everything will look nice. We can now move on to the next step, guys, which is going to be adding our aquarium tea to the tank. So I'm going to add this water, exactly. I'm not going to strain it. That's going to help to add, or I should say increase the tannins in the tank, even though it's already pretty close to what I want. Before we do this, I'm going to let it cool off a little bit more. We're going to add some more wood to the tank because, as you can see, the back isn't really looking exactly how it was before. There was a lot more volume when we had the moss, so we want to add in some extra sticks. Hopefully this is going to work out. Hopefully I can get away with just putting these in the substrate and they won't float away. The bigger ones like this might be kind of tough, but I think the smaller ones we're going to get away with it. Let's do that. The last thing we need to do before we put in fish is figure out some kind of filtration. So I've already figured that out. I went and found this old grubby hang-on back filter that we're going to reuse. Just did a little clean on it. Got it all loaded up with some media. And this is old media that was in this filter sitting on a tank for forever. So we will have to kind of recycle this tank. Let's get this thing fitted on the back here. I think this is going to be the best choice. HOBs, of course, a favorite over here, especially on smaller tanks. Filtration is probably going to be more important than on a planted tank because this is not a planted tank. I am curious how the extra surface area in here is going to help filtration though, because we know that the more surface area you have on all the things in your tank is going to help promote more bacteria, as long as they have the food, of course. I don't know, maybe you could run this with no filter because you will have enough surface area and bacteria in here to do it. Maybe we'll try that at some point. Filter looks good. Turn that knob down a little bit just so we didn't get any flow coming up over the top there because I don't have a lid. Now we're going to add in, of course, our Turbo Start by Fritz. This is going to allow us to add our fish pretty much immediately. I'm about to head downstairs and grab some right after this has some time to settle a little bit in the aquarium. So there's not a lot of really good choices down here, but what I did manage to find was some chili rasboras that need a new temporary home. We don't want to be running out to the fish store because, again, we are moving here pretty soon, but we do want to get some fish out of some tanks that are definitely going to be completely destructed and not going to survive that move. There shouldn't be too much of a shock. I mean, the only difference in the water quality is going to be the tannins, and those aren't going to have any kind of shocking effect on the fish when we move them from their old tank to this new tank. So here's the tank the next day, and as you'll probably notice, the chili rasboras that we put in here, not enough to really fill this tank out. This is a 10-gallon aquarium, but chili rasboras are super tiny, so we'd probably need to have, like, honestly, 20 of them in here to really be able to see fish, right? So there's a couple back there in the back. The tinge is kind of hiding them a little bit. There's another couple back here I just saw, but there's a lot of spaces in here to hide. We might actually see some other fish that I'm not seeing right now as we pan around the sides of the tank, but this is just a holding tank, right? Like, this isn't meant to be the fish that stay in here. Maybe I'll get a bunch more when we move this aquarium to the new house. I'm not sure. We might get some different fish too. This was mostly just a proof of concept for me because I haven't ever really had a dedicated Blackwater tank ever, so I'm happy to do this one. I had to really crunch up a lot of the leaves because obviously we don't have the space to have like a big catappa leaf in here, right? It wouldn't look natural. The scale of everything would be way off, and so that's kind of what's happening here with these bigger spiky cones. The alder cones I think are the perfect size. They're like just kind of giant cones in this little world we have in here. These ones are a little big though. This is very much a rough draft, right? I think that when we do move to the next house, if we decide we don't want to do the Blackwater anymore, then we could easily turn this back into a planted tank. I think that covers most of the things involved with a Blackwater tank. There's not really that much to it. If you want to lighten up the water, you just do little water changes, and if you for some reason like just freak out and decide you don't want this anymore, then you just do big water changes, and you can also put some activated carbon in the filter to really prevent the slow release of tannins from any of the botanicals you put in. I think this little tank has a pretty cool vibe to it. I think the Blackwater stuff is interesting, and I'm down to at least do another one on a little bit of a bigger scale maybe. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to check out the sticker store, Legit Fish Food, and of course, Tannin Aquatics. And yeah, thanks once again, guys, for watching. We'll see you in the next one.